Hello everyone. Today we're going to read from the Player's Handbook again. Let us begin. Let's not waste any time. Alright. This is where we're going to start. I'm just going to improvise based on illustrations. We're reading from the official Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook by E. Gary Gygax. We're on page 102. Here we have a troll, definitely a troll, in a dungeon that is holding a thread of yarn on a spool, and we have an adventurer collecting the yarn, and the troll somehow has outsmarted the adventurer. Because for this situation to even happen, to get to this point where the adventurer has it in his hand, must mean the troll is about to yank on this thread, thus pulling the adventurer forward if he's got a tight grip on it, causing him to fall to the floor. The troll is then going to pounce on him and devour him. Whole, crunchy, fleshy snack for the troll. Dinner is served. Or it could possibly go another way. He or she could be wise to the situation and has a loose grip on the rope. The troll pulls on it, it slides through their hands, thus thwarting the trap. The troll then is like, huh? I thought that was gonna work. Nope. And then you hear the adventurer sheath their sword, ready to attack. But this must be a magic sword. Maybe they've never fought trolls before. Maybe they did not do their research before going out on an adventure. You need flame. Some sort of flame. Where's your torch at? So that tells me this must be the beginnings, or somewhere there's a light source. Very clever of the troll to have the trap where there's a light source. Why would the adventurer need a torch if there's a light source? So it must be like an open part somewhere nearby. There's a big open area with a light source far enough away where it's not going to threaten the troll, whether it be a light source from a flame or maybe even a magical light source that the troll knows about. This could be this troll's dungeon. And this could be this troll's just daily routine. Adventurers going in to seek and find treasure, only to find out that they become the meal of that which they're seeking out. Isn't that kind of scary and cool at the same time? Now I want to continue on to page. This page doesn't have a number on it. But if we look here, it's page 107. Page 108, we have a talking pillar. This could be the same dungeon, but this time we have an adventurers of 4. This could be a bard, this could be a fighter, this could be a barbarian, this could be a rogue. Here they come upon a talking pillar, and the pillar's like, maybe you shouldn't go any further. Maybe you should ask me and talk to me about the current situation. Don't you know it's dangerous to be going and just traveling through my house like this? Who do you think you are? You must answer my riddle, or I am going to eat one of you. And then the 4 of them are like, huh? We'll see about that. And then they start running. But look, off in here we have eyeballs. Obviously, the 2 of these are working together. The talking pillar with the awesome lips is talking, must be working in cahoots in a nice way to where they both benefit. So if this one is now distracted, if they should run, they're going to run into whatever that is. And I don't think that by any means is a friendly looking set of eyeballs. The eyeballs on that there creature looks kind of like maybe it's going to have some lunch. That seems to be the common theme here. Adventurer is getting devoured. And then their gear then is enriching the dungeon as the dungeon grows and gets more adventurers in it that get consumed by the dungeon, so to speak, which makes more adventurers want to go in and check it out and say, yeah, I want some of that too. Kind of dangerous. So then let's just say they stop in their tracks and they'll say, okay, go ahead with your riddle. And then the pillar proceeds to read a riddle. Now, can I come up with a riddle right now off the top of my head? I'll give it a try. Let us begin. Adventurers, the four of you, enter in my dungeon so rudely. I don't think I like you. Answer my riddle now. What could it be? The four of you minus 3 equals 1 plus 4 plus 10 minus 8 times pi to the third decimal point to the right minus the square root of 67. You 2, you 3, you 4. You see, I'm talking in riddles. Did you write that down? I hope you did, because you only have 12 minutes to figure out this riddle. All I would like is a number. And then the four of these adventurers gather around and they're like, 12 minutes. Should we just guess? What if we guessed? We have 12 minutes. Let's just sit about. And then one of them notices the dark eyes. I mean, the not the dark, but the eyes that are somehow lit by the torch they're reflecting. And they're like, oh, we don't go that way. So where do they go? Now they're just kind of just gather around here. And they're thinking, should we just go back the way we came? Maybe we should. This is quite a ridiculously tough riddle. The treasure that awaits must be grand for such a ridiculous riddle to be asked upon us four. Yes. Maybe another day, maybe another time. And as they, four of them, go back the way they came, one of the adventurers gets snatched up by a large, protruding tongue that comes out of the pillar, grabs the closest one, which in this case just happens to be this particular adventure here. And the tongue slurps it up, grabs him, and gulp, consumed, and crunch, 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 crunchy, crunchy, crunchy adventure fleshy bones. What a nice snack. And then we go to the next page, and there's only 3 left now, minus 1. And then one guy's like here is like, well, I'm glad it wasn't me. And this guy's right here, yeah, I'm glad it wasn't me either. You're like, yup, we have managed to grab the loot of our party member as he was getting eaten. So we're going to split it amongst the 3 of us. Ooh, isn't that evil? But I think under the circumstances, it's kind of a weird way to get treasure. These 3 profited in a wild way just because of the riddle that was asked. Now, as they go back to their taverns and their inns to count their loot. They're going to try to figure out that mathematical number. One of them has a very good memory, almost like a photographic memory, so it's no problem for them, but to actually do the math. You can't tell me that anybody who's sane could figure out whatever that number is that we all heard the talking pillar in the strange dungeon ask. But then that riddle will never be asked again. That riddle has been satiated by the death of one of the party members, you see. Ooh, thunder and lightning, scary. That was a scary, scary, scary story. Ooh. But that's just how it goes in Dungeons and Dragons. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Death is just gonna happen that quickly with your party adventurers, and it's permadeath. As we flip through the pages here looking for other illustrations. Oh yeah! They used to call them thieves back in the day, and now they call them rogue. But that is not looking good for this gentleman right here. What do you think you're doing there? Wow, look at the length of that guy's arm. Holy smokes. No wonder they are such a good at their profession. Now here I've got some notes here from way back in the day. That's always kind of cool to look at. Stuff that I may have jotted down for whatever reason as I did my adventures with my friends. Cool. Illusionist spells. We're on page 111. And on that page, it talks about psionics. Psionics are always awesome to introduce into a campaign. You got a table of psionic disciplines. You got animal telepathy, body equilibrium, body weaponry, excludes magic users. You got cell adjustment. You got clairaudience, clairvoyance, detection of good or evil, detection of magic. Domination excludes thieves, or in which case now we call them rogues. Empathy excludes fighters. Okay. ESP, expansion, excludes clerics. Hypnosis, invisibility. Levitation, mind over body. Molecular agitation. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Object reading, excludes rogues. Precognition, reduction, excludes clerics. Sensitivity to psychic impressions. Suspend animation. Roll again or select one. Roll again or select one. Oh, okay, I get it. This is if you were to like randomly pick your psionics when making a character. You roll a d12 and a d6 and add them together. Or you could just roll a d12 or a d6 once to get number 1, of course. If that's the way you'd want to do it. Here you got major sciences, which is a d20, a 20-sided dice. If you roll a 12, what do you get? You get probability travel. Awesome. Here you go. Telekinesis is what I would want, number 13. You got telepathy, telepathic projection, teleportation, shape alteration. These are some awesome upper class psionic disciplines. They got the major ones, okay? Body weaponry, it talks about it. The body weaponry discipline allows the possessor to use his or her body as both weapon and armor by altering the molecules in the body as needed. The table below shows the equivalent armor class and weapon according to the level of mastery. Note the class distinctions, okay? Here they got list here for clerics, fighters, or thieves, or rogues, okay? Yeah. Cool. So we're in the appendix area. And page 110 is the beginning of psionics. Okay, cool. Oh, that's right after this illustration. This is a very cool illustration. Then the attention to detail. Wow. And the torch light there, it looks so bright, even though it's in the gray scale. I can see how bright that torch is. Wouldn't you agree? Let's just keep turning here, turning the pages. I hope you're enjoying this video. I hope you're enjoying your snacks and your drinks. Here we have a familiar. Checking out what is going on here in this book and learning spells and incantations. Ooh, what's this? This is some good artwork here. This is cool. Clerics. All different representations. That is awesome. Spell explanations. Each spell is presented here in exactly the same format. The spell is first identified by name and type of magic it involves. Thereafter, its level, range, distance it can be cast, duration, area of effect, components, casting time, and saving throws are shown. Finally, an explanation of the spell and description of its effects are given in some detail. Excellent. Henchmen. This is on page 39. As discussed in the preceding section regarding character abilities, charisma has great effect on the number of henchmen a character is able to attract. Wow. That's something I really never pursued. This is the first time I've actually ever read this. Had I had known that when I was younger, I would have had higher charisma on my rolls, and I would have definitely been hiring some followers. A henchman is a more or less devoted follower of a character in return for the use of his or her abilities and talents. The henchman receives support, lodging, and shares of his or her mistress's earnings, or I don't like to say that word right there. We'll say mistress or leader. There you go. In the form of stipends or as a share of treasure taken. Henchmen are always of a character race and character class, but are never played characters. Are never played, really. So I guess the one that's going to control it would be the overseer of the campaign. The one that rolls the dice behind the scenes for everyone. To a degree. And I'm pretty sure the player character has a way to just ask them what to do, develop a relationship to the point where it almost becomes the player character. Once the hired follower, or in this case a henchwomen, can then be played more like a player character, the more they get to know each other. And especially on alignment. Let's say you've got a henchwoman who is a paladin. Lawful good, obviously. Paladins must be lawful good, unless you want to be an anti-paladin. You can be lawful evil, I suppose, but you have to be lawful. And then I think you could, based on the alignment, be more able to convince the overseer of the campaign that yes, that's acceptable behavior. All right, let's continue. Oh. Wow. Can you imagine what's going on here right now? There is so much going on here. What's up with this one here? Seems to have fallen. Oh, yeah. There's something we're missing here. There must be another adventure. See, yeah, okay. We got some sort of bright flash going on here. I see. Oh, it's ducking for cover because its eyes hurt from the bright light of the shield, which produces a bright light in a dark dungeon. Yes. Doesn't seem to affect this adversary, nor this one, but this one's ducking for cover. Like, no, my eyes! Oh, that hurts! And as it's ducking for cover, it gets impaled by the rocky debris on the floor. Yeah. There's the illustrator's name. Sutherland. Yes. Very good. Look at the cross-hatching here. Beautiful. There's a lot going on here. Oh, we got something else going on here too. Like some sort of like tail. Okay, so this tail and this must be the same. So we got some sort of scorpion hybrid type creature here. That's ducking for cover because it's just too bright for its eyes. Yeah. But then it's in the way and this one's going to trip over. Yeah, this right here, this creature right here with the interesting looking tail here, a dangerous looking weaponry tail, and the human feet, it's game over. And then, ooh, boom, stab that sword right into the gut. And then they're going to trip over, and then this one's going to be like, okay, I'm out of here. You all have a good day. And then this one is going to be like, yeah, me too. Let's regroup. They're the only two left. I think that's what's going to happen. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching this video, giving it a like or dislike, whatever. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Everyone have a great day. Good luck in your Dungeons & Dragons campaigns and then the books that you may read in the same genre. Yeah.